Welcome back to another episode of Real Chumps. We're chatting about movies, feels like hanging out with friends. I'm your host, Marcel, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Danny.
This week, we discussed The Ring, directed by Gore Verbinski, written by Aaron Kruger, and starring Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, and David Dorfman, and many more.
In this episode, we discuss the horror elements sprinkled throughout, the themes of family and neglect, and the excellent payoff the ending provides. But before we roll the intro, make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.
Join in on that conversation by following us on YouTube at Real Chums and other socials. With that being said,
let's roll that intro. All right, Danny, so I have the question of the day. We're going to do something a little bit different, though.
Okay.
I'm going to have you guess the movie based on the bad review.
Oh, let's do this.
Now we're gonna set some parameters around this because there are millions of movies out there. This is a movie that came out in the last 2 months.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
deal.
Now I'm gonna read this bad review. I'm gonna blank out.
Where are you basing these bad reviews from? IMDb?
IMDb.
Okay, wonderful.
I'm gonna blank out certain areas so that way that you don't know who the main character is and whatnot. Okay.
Give it to me.
This is the title of the review. A 1 star out of 10. Let's make money from a mediocre sequel of a great movie. I am a great fan of the original, but this was almost boring! ! Too many loose ends that I felt no connection at all. I guess the producers thought that, let's make money from a sequel, but it may not be that great again. All right, let's put some popular actors for adult and older people. Teens will not like. Let's add some pointless teenage love story. Maybe some art lovers may not like it. Some musical would be nice, and the rest will be done with CGI. I have no idea why the antagonist, blank, would be in such a movie. Our main character was great in this other TV show, but they are not very good at acting in other roles, I assume. Just mix all popular things so that everybody finds something they are interested in, and maybe they will buy it. This movie deserves 4 or 5 out of 10, because of much disappointment, I instead give it a 1.
Okay, this movie came out in the last 2 months?
Yeah.
Is it animated?
It is not.
Okay, that's fine. So this person's so opinionated. They did so one of the people was in a TV show previously?
Yeah. One of the
This is brutal. Okay.
it's a sequel. There are many sequels that came out in the last 2 months.
I'm trying to think. Let's see what sequels came out. Beetlejuice.
There you
go.
Yep. This review was brought to you by New Orhan-93609.
Thank you,
New
Go
Orhan.
watch Beetlejuice now.
Let's see if Mr. New Orhan is right about it.
That's so funny.
Some pointless teenage love story.
That's hilarious. I'm excited for these reviews. That's fun. That was fun.
All right. Well,
we have the Black Lung. So please send some money to sponsor us so we can get medication. Our Venmo would be linked down. Just kidding.
I've got the Black Lung pop.
Man.
Well, let's look before we get into the discussion of The Ring. Let's talk a little bit about the history that we have with it.
Absolutely.
And then I want you to, after we share that, let's share also really quick 1, 2, 3 things that you like or don't like from this movie, and then we'll go from there.
Yo, I think you should start with your relationship with this movie.
Dude, I loved this movie as a kid. Well, okay, let me back it up. I
was not expecting that.
I think I watched this from 2002 when it came out to 2005. Maybe I saw this 5 times. I have not seen this movie since.
Yeah.
And I think this movie was unique in the sense that it was my first true horror movie as a early preteen. as a tween.
Yeah.
This is a funny story. I won't go too much into it, but I think this movie came out when I was like seventh grade, maybe, or eighth
I think
grade.
so. I was 10.
Okay, yeah. So this was like I had my first like junior high birthday party where I invited girls and boys.
Ooh.
I know, and we decided to watch this movie.
Oh my goodness.
And we also did this big prank on one of my friends.
Oh my gosh.
We did the prank where, like, in the movie, right? We're watching the movie, and then in the movie they watch the Ring movie.
Yeah.
And then the phone rings, right?
Yeah.
My brother had his girlfriend upstairs.
Oh, classic.
We watched the Ring video in the movie, and then it was perfect. She was standing outside.
Yeah.
The window outside. She calls our house as soon as the movie ended. So then the movie ends, right? Naomi Watts' character watches the video.
Yeah.
And then the phone rings in real life for us. I pause it. I pick it up. And I go to my friend. I'm like, oh, hey, it's for you. Everyone's already scared. She picks it up, and my brother's girlfriend says 7 days.
Nice.
And she freaks out, and it was fun. This was like my first like scary movie, big boy movie for me to watch. And I just thought it was great back then. I love so many things about this movie now that after 20 years watching it. And I dislike so many things from this movie. And I'm excited to talk about it all.
Me too. So we will probably end up doing The Ring 2. And honestly, The Ring 2 is the one that I think.
You think we'll do The Ring 2?
I mean, probably. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, I was 10. So, and The Ring 2 came out 3 years later.
Oh, really? That quick?
2005. So 2002 and then 2005. Now, so my relationship to The Ring is in connection to The Ring 2 because that's the one with the stairs, right?
Dude, I'll be honest. I heard The Ring 2 was horrendous. I never saw it.
I remember having The Ring with the like going down the stairs.
Yeah, it must be that because I've never seen The Ring 2.
Yeah.
And looking at it right now, it has really bad rating.
Yeah. I don't remember. Do remember this. I honestly don't know which one I ended. I think I did watch this. I don't remember very well when or what, but it was during Halloween or sometime during the fall season probably. Yeah. And it was with homies and like both similar, like both the girls and boy hanging out. It was like a movie night at someone's house or whatever. This season of my life was very much a slew of movie nights at several people's
someone's
houses.
house. Yeah.
And a lot of times at my house. Yeah. I had a lot of movie nights at my house. So, in any case, but we didn't ever do scary movies at my house. So, this probably was at somebody else's house. All said but done, I could not remember. I kept thinking and waiting for different moments. And I was like, which Ring did I freaking watch? So I'm going to have to do some sleuthing.
Did you watch the one that came out a couple years ago, Rings?
No.
Which is the third one? Okay.
I have not. There's, how many are there?
There's 3.
Okay, so then it definitely must be 2.
Okay.
And I honestly don't remember any of the plot. I just, all I remember is her walking down, like she walks down this, I won't spoil it for you.
Look,
you're not gonna watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it unless we do it for the podcast.
She like the Samara, whatever.
Yeah, Samara.
Yeah. She like does this like creepy like, and she walks down the steps. Now I could be totally wrong. I honestly can't. If I am, correct me in the comments below.
I think you're thinking of The Grudge.
I am thinking of The Grudge. They had similar vibes. They both had like the black, super black, like it is The Grudge. Oh my god.
It's The Grudge that you're thinking of. Yep.
I am thinking The Grudge. When did The Grudge come out? Now I'm like
2007-ish?
Oh, you're right. Yep. No, The Grudge came out 2004.
2004. Okay. Well, yeah, because the Ring. We'll talk about this a little bit, but like The Ring did launch this wave of Japanese remakes in the United States.
Okay, so
right?
we're definitely gonna talk about this. I can't believe I got that mixed up with The Grudge.
Yeah.
No,
it's
natural.
understandable. Yeah.
I mean, it's a time period where like these movies had a huge renaissance. We're gonna talk about it in a few, but for me, I do remember, like I said, to a degree, the tape was huge. I don't remember anyone doing the phone call with me, but I do think I remember some other friend pulling that prank.
Okay.
So like that prank was for sure.
Oh yeah.
The vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm there. I will say I really enjoyed rewatching this film.
I had a great time with this.
Yeah, I'm really pumped to talk about it. Here are a couple things that I liked and did not like.
Tell me.
I love that this is a journalism film.
Mm-hmm.
I actually completely forgot that journalism was even something like part of this.
Yeah.
And I like thoroughly enjoyed that. I also really, really loved that this is like not only journalism, but like the era where the internet is like just taking on, like the actual internet of what we know the internet is taking place, but tape and the like nostalgia of VHS hits so hard. And I think I like this movie so much more because I worked in news for 2 years and I went into a tape room. Like we had a tape room and I had to pull, there was one assignment that I had to go and like pull, I had to go find some stuff. And so I had to go take out the old tapes that we had, put in the thing and be able to have like the actual, the whole rig. It wasn't the whole setup. That was like excessive. But we had a similar, it was stripped down. Obviously they might have had it back in the day because they had multiple people that needed something. But I just want to make a very bold statement that DVDs are the worst form of medium ever to ever exist. DVDs.
Okay.
And VHS are really great.
Why?
DVDs are always scratched. I feel like you could have a VHS and you could like semi-recover it.
I'm gonna argue that.
Okay, let's do it.
I don't know what kind of home you were raised in, Danny, but like I never had a DVD scratch. You would pull it out gently, be very careful with it, put it in, and then when it came out, you would grab it and put it back in. I never touched it. Like
that's because you do. But there are people like I've experienced where there was someone out there and they just like the DVD like got jammed. Like someone had like they bought a used one or whatever. Okay. So it got jammed and messed up. They couldn't get it out. So then they're trying to like, it got like stuck halfway. And like, then they're trying to like pull the DVD out. There's other people who don't even like, they didn't care. They just like, they didn't care about, like, they didn't understand they thought it was a VHS. And I like, without a doubt, I've purchased DVDs. And that time period when I was buying more DVDs, that I would get DVDs and like, it's like somebody, I'm like putting it in. I'm like, why is this messed up? Okay.
No, I get that. Look, my parents are cleaning out their basement right now, and we have over 200. No, I'd say like 300 DVDs down there.
Nice.
And I'm just like, oh man, these are all in pristine condition. I just don't know what to do with them.
That's the problem. That's my problem with physical media. I keep wanting to do it. They have the anniversary. Sorry, we're going on a hard tangent right now. But the anniversary edition for Interstellar, they're coming out with a new anniversary edition, like special collection, and it looks great. And I like really want to buy it, but I'm like, I don't watch DVDs.
You have to, Danny. Look, this is another conversation for another time. But like, have you ever thought that there's a very likelihood that Netflix one day will no longer exist?
Yeah.
Because of how much they're in debt.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a good chance that like all of that, whether another studio comes in and like buys the rights and
Netflix
all of that.
Netflix doesn't even, buys the rights. Okay.
But what I'm saying is like, there are hundreds of movies because that's how much Netflix produces that will be lost to time.
And I'm like, and I know, but I can't buy. They only release like
yes, and that's the problem with like streaming.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Okay, this is why I think like it's so crucial to buy. Look, I have a TV that doesn't connect, that I can't play Blu-rays on right now, but I continue to buy my freaking Blu-rays.
Yeah.
It's just
I should I don't know, I just don't have the space, and I'm like, I want to, but I just don't have the space, and it's crazy. Anyways, okay, a couple things I don't like. Pacing feels a little over the wall, a little here and there at times for me. And I'm not sure if I'm just like, I think part of it is like I had a different movie in my head, so that could be definitely the case.
The Grudge.
The Grudge, maybe The Ring too. In all, the whole situation. But I felt pacing was a little off. I also I didn't like. It was a little weird. Part of it for me was like, what was the other movie that had the kid drawing? Was that a movie we watched to get for the show? Or was that something else that I watched? I swear there was some other like the kid was drawing and it's like the same vibe.
Okay. Yeah. The kid, Noah, that's the name. No,
Aiden.
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 He is very like a cliche horror kid.
Well, in like this time era, like
Yeah.
it felt very like I don't know. I didn't love it, and I don't know. It just was. I also don't love some of the relationship between Naomi Watts and the son. I have lots of thoughts there, but I think those out of right now, I think, and I don't. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's where I'm at. Where you at?
Look, here's what I love. I continue to love the actual video of The Ring.
Okay.
I think it has some of like the most haunting visuals ever. And I remember when this came out, like just seeing like a ladder leaning up against the wall would freak me out. Like it's simple things of like the eye of a horse, like just simple things that are just so spooky and scary.
Is that a context? Yeah.
I just continue to love the actual video itself.
Yeah.
I think when Samara finally comes out of the TV, it still holds up, and it looks freaking good.
It does hold up. It does. I was gonna say that. I felt like this movie actually holds up super well.
Yeah, and I love the effect of her like she's out of a TV, like it has like a little glitching and static going on. I also love just the fact that it is like a journalist story. Like, I think you could have written this in so many other ways, but like the fact that it's a journalist going out and doing investigative work really this movie, which I love, just goes. Like the first like 5 days happen within the first like 40 minutes of that movie. Not like 30 minutes, but like it's so fast paced. And I just love because of the investigative storyline. It just makes it go really well. So, but the things that I did not like, dude, that greenish, bluish coloring.
Dude, the color grading for this is the most dated part of this film.
Oh, it's so horrible.
It's bad. There was
one point where like I paused it to go upstairs. I was watching in my living room. I come down and like my whole living room's like blue, and I'm like, what kind of lighting do I have down here? No, it was a TV. And I don't like the movie attempts to hit some themes, and we can discuss it attempts them, whether they land or not. I argue that they don't land. So we'll get to those themes. And then I think that's kind of the big issues that I have. Yeah. Overall, like I had a great time watching this movie.
I agree. All right. With that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll see you to discuss the full thoughts that we have for this film right after the break.
Thanks for listening to Real Chums. Before we jump into the full discussion of this episode, we wanted to invite you to join our email list where twice a month we share what we've been watching, our TV and movie recommendations, and commentary on the biggest headlines in the movie industry directly to your inbox.
This is just the start of what we have planned for our content. And by subscribing, you're getting the best seats in the house for what's to come. So head over to realchums.com/newsletter to sign up today.
Now back to the show.
We put this movie on the docket because part of it is because, it's Halloween, October. But you also mostly was that you had read an article saying that this screenplay is nearly, if not a perfect screenplay.
Yeah.
I want to start there. And I kind of want to also touch on the fact, I hope we talk about it, is that this is an adaptation from a Japanese horror film.
To be exact, it's an adaptation of the book, the Japanese book. Okay. So they adapted the novel rather than adapting the Japanese screenplay.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes.
Sweet. what do you got for us?
Look, I read this article I don't know, I think it was maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I tried to find it. I couldn't. But in the article, they were proposing like how well structured this movie or the script is and why it's such a powerful like horror movie. I disagree. It's not.
Yeah, I would agree. This is not
But I do, what I do like about this movie is it sidesteps a little bit of the horror. And it is a journalist driven story, right?
Which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Truly, this has some of the best like journalistic research focused like show not tell moments in cinema, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like even like Searchlight, an amazing story, fantastic. You haven't watched it, you definitely should go check it out. But because it's newspaper, there's a level of that's like still that feels slightly dated of some kind, right? You have The Newsroom, a wonderful series as well, but that's all like about the people and like whatnot. But when it comes to a journalistic story, the fact that we have like physical tape, we have the idea of like going in to have to copy or like but you're still in an era where like digital hasn't fully taken over, and so like they have the massive archives and that's still like all those little things of like the research and like trying to piece things together, and all of that just felt really, really powerful in this film.
And I think just like the contrast between a supernatural horror and like a journalistic investigation matches really well, right? I think, and again, I'm not a horror enthusiast, but like oftentimes these horror movies are following a group of teenagers or the priest at the local church is doing some kind of exorcism, right? And he's trying to find the truth or whatever, right? Or it's more like family driven, how this is impacting our family. Whereas this is, you could argue, unfortunately, it's not very family driven, and there are some themes in there because of that. But like, because it is a journalistic investigation, it really just launches this movie right from the beginning.
I agree.
And the pacing for me is great in that aspect. I don't think I was ever like, this is slowing down or anything like that. If anything, like I love how it would tell you like day 5 or whatever, right? I think it was on day 5. I'm like, oh, we're already on day 5. Like, this is moving really fast, and I really enjoy that because I've always said it. I love a movie that gives me a deadline, right? A countdown.
Yeah.
And this one, obviously, the whole premise is based on that. But also, like that opening scene with the 2 girls. Okay, cliche. I get it.
Yeah.
I love and hate that scene though. I love it because like it tells me the whole entire premise that I need to know.
Correct.
Right? Like you watch a movie, you get a phone call, you die 7 days later.
Correct.
And like we get it. I don't like how it did too many like fake outs. It did the one fake out of like, oh, I watched it, and then she pretends to choke.
Yeah.
And then like the phone ring, and then she's serious about it. It's like, so wait, are you joking? Are you not? Like, are you? Anyway, but I love just like the pacing, and like we get into it, and then the movie just launches, and I'll give it credit for that. Like, great job, Mr. What's his name? Who wrote this? Aaron Kruger, who would go on to do several of the Transformer movies, and actually I think he won the Oscar most recently for Maverick, Top Gun.
Nice.
But anyway, like it does that really well.
Yeah.
And I love that because, and maybe it's a criticism from people, but it's a journalistic investigation first, then the horror elements are sprinkled in there rather than it being constantly horror and someone trying to find the truth. I love that layout of the script.
So when I was doing a little bit of some of the research, like they actually toned it down to make it PG-13.
Oh yeah.
I think there was going to be, it's like more, there's more, maybe not violent, but like gruesome, depictions and stuff like that. And when they do, it hits. I still had a couple jump scares. I mean, when they revealed the body with the female. I mean, just because I had forgotten.
That's a cheap jump scare.
It is a cheap jump scare.
Because like you're just talking and she's like, "Yeah, I found the body,"
and then like it flashes. Yeah.
Cheap.
They have a couple moments throughout the film that they have like the like weird stuff, but
And very like the sound design, very loud, like
yeah.
closing of file cabinets. They are not that loud.
No, I would not only that, but oh my gosh, I had the same thought. I was like, why is he like smashing? Like he's supposed to be sneaking around in the basement of this, and he's just Hulk smash. I agree. I love that there was the countdown 7 days.
Yeah,
she's trying to beat this. She's trying to find the answers within the 7 days. I love the added pressure that her son ends up watching it, and now she's like driving there, even though like I don't know. We'll talk about it in a second. Actually, let's talk about it now.
Okay.
Because I think to me, that's where like some of the pacing moments get lost for me.
Is between her and her son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like, and part of it is that like stuff, like they introduced the fact that he's like, you know, she's already at the farm and she, you know, she's asking him about stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's when we find out that he has had some sort of communication, right? Yes. Or knows of Samara, and she's in the dark place. But like not that she's not a bad mom. She's just a working mom. She's just a working single mom. But also like her son doesn't call her mom.
Yeah.
So like there's something more there, right? Obviously it doesn't matter ultimately with the story. I wish there was something maybe like one scene, maybe with Noah, once we find out that Noah's the father, right? Which actually is I thought was great.
Yeah, it's a nice little plot twist to it.
Yeah, it's like oh my gosh, like they're way more. We're not just shipping them.
Yeah,
they were shipped.
I agree. I appreciate what the movie's trying to say and trying to deliver of like this. You have Rachel and Aiden, a mother and a son, who have this tarnished relationship. You have Samara and her mom, who have a very damaged relationship, right? And then, you know, she says at the end, like, all she wanted, Brian Cox's character, who, by the way, I totally forgot was in this.
Me too.
So good.
Oh my goodness. He's so classic good. Brian Cox.
Yeah.
He's just,
so good. But like he says something along the lines like, all she wanted was to have a child, right? And like, she tried so hard, she fought so hard, and then this child like
ruined her,
whatever it was, right? And then at the end, Rachel, when the police arrive, and she's like, all she wanted was to be heard, to be listened to be seen, and then she kind of does this like glimpse of like, I just want to go home now, hinting to us that she's realizing that she has been a neglectful mother. And now she wants to go to her child, right? So, like, I appreciate what the movie's attempting to do in that, like, you have two parents with kids and how they went about having kids, how they go about being a parent, and how, one, Rachel is a bit distant or busy. I think the movie does a really good job at showing that she's not a bad mom. It's that she's a busy mom, right?
And that she's doing what she can in order to, and the fact is that she gets fired.
Yeah. And excuse me. And because of how busy she is or whatever, she has become a neglectful mother, right? Whereas you have Samara's mom who just eventually like tried to kill her daughter, right? It's like you have these two mothers and how they go about doing what they're doing, right? Going back to like the whole dynamic and relationship between Noah, Aiden, and Rachel, that's where like maybe I'll take back what I said. Like those are the moments where I'm just like, I hated the interaction between Noah and Aiden in the car. Like,
yeah,
do you want me around? Should I be around more? And then Aiden says like, do you want to be around? Like,
this is again. I think part of me is like, I either wanted is it Rachel?
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel and Aiden to like have Aiden take more of a role. like a stronger role because he's a smart kid apparently. Like,
Yeah.
he's an attentive kid. He's like, you know, he's a conundrum, right? And he is like super. He's like getting up and he's taking care of himself, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's something to be said that this kid has something that maybe he's high functioning, like super smart or whatever. And having that scene felt not forced, maybe a little forced.
Yeah.
It felt. I will say on Martin Henderson's. I actually thought he did a good job. It felt genuine, in my opinion, in the sense of like, not genuine like in the sense of like him trying to be genuine. But like his acting felt like he's a dude that he had this kid when he was young. He decided not to take any responsibility for it, and he left Rachel to do it by herself, and now he's kind of back in the life, and he's trying to figure out what the heck he's trying to do, not only with Aiden but with Rachel, right? And you know, but at the end of the day, like he doesn't know what he wants, right? And so, like coming from his like, you know, that's like, especially because the kid's like almost 10, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Felt like, how, you know, you can have conversations like that with a 10-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, they're attentive enough, they're observant, and they're something, you know, he's distanced from Rachel, so like maybe he would want, you know, that sort of thing. So to me, I felt like there was a sense of genuine nature from like the way Noah portrayed it.
Sure.
Aiden's portrayal throughout the whole movie is very stagnant. Is the way I would put it, and I don't love it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think the actor that plays Noah, I think he did good in that, but like maybe the script demanded for me more of more of these dynamics between the three of them. If you're really trying to like deliver this theme of like parenting, or like this parenting guilt that we have to like tend to our kids, I think you could have fleshed that out a little bit more.
I don't disagree, because then the payoff at the end would have been better.
Yeah, and maybe and maybe it was a very conscious decision to say, all right, let's put Aiden, like he's gone for like 80% of this movie. He's not in it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe on purpose to say like she's so quick to like go and do her work, her journalistic investigation, that she really literally just dumps the kid off, right? And like, all right, go do. She's literally neglecting him.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe that was a very conscious decision to do.
Yeah.
But I think this movie would have benefited a lot from like maybe Aiden tagging along a bit.
I agree.
I really hate the fact that Noah. So then Rachel and Noah go on. They head over to the island, right? But like he goes.
Yeah, they split up.
They split up. Again, like if you're wanting me to really understand the dynamics between your characters of this family, so to speak, quote unquote, why separate them?
Yeah. So this is funny because like I feel like this suffers from the complete opposite of what Quantumania.
I knew you were gonna bring up Ant-Man.
Were you gonna bring up Ant-Man?
No, but as soon as you started talking, I'm like, this guy's gonna bring up Ant-Man.
It's because I feel like this, like, so in Quantumania, they have they split Paul Rudd and Liz, or no, Lynn, what's her name? Liz, Evangeline Lilly.
Oh, Evangeline.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Because she's trying to deal something with her parents. Like they split, and then Paul Rudd is trying to, encounter something with his daughter. Mm-hmm. Even though it would have been better if they had stayed together.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't disagree. I think like if we take this as a journalistic film, and we're taking this as what is journalism doing, and what is it revealing in the sense of like this mishap and the implications that she could be a better mom. Yeah. But the moral, like the real morality is the like more parental theme, and they had all the elements to make it happen and they don't.
Yeah. I think that's like watching it this time. I was like, oh, this is like I see the comparisons, I see the metaphors happening back and forth, but then it's not delivered. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Even at the end, like when Noah's like, oh, you should call me tomorrow and the day after and every day or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like
it does.
Why don't you say something to Aiden? Like,
yeah. Or even like, hey, can I help, bring dinner over? Like something that meant that they're more, it just felt like he was trying to go after another girl.
Yeah. Like I am not convinced that Noah is ready to be a father still.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if that's what the filmmakers wanted us to get out of it.
Right.
So it's left kind of like that wasn't fleshed out, but I do appreciate what they're trying to tell between these two parents, right? I want to talk a little bit about the horror elements.
Okay.
Something that like really stood out to me, this movie, at least I counted like 3 or 4 of them, where the camera locks on a character and it just like quickly not zooms, but like dollies into them, making it seem like there's about to be a jump scare.
Yeah.
And there never was.
Yeah.
I loved it. I just love that. Like
it's not a vertigo effect because they're not zooming in while zooming out.
Yeah.
Right? You're just like coming in.
They're just coming into you, right? And it happens, I counted like 3 times. And every time it happened, I was just like, what's going to happen? And nothing happened. Like it just cuts to then like for us to like see something else that's happening around them. But like, I love that Gore Verbinski, also like shout out to Gore. Like I think this was my first, it was my first Gore Verbinski movie. But like he really creates this like atmosphere of like, there's something there.
Yeah. The eeriness of this film is super good.
And I think that's what adds like the thriller and the horror to it, because we don't see Samara in action until the very end.
Yeah, this is actually something that I thought was super intriguing. So like if we take out the breakdown of this film, we have the opening 10 minutes, which is like a YouTube video. Okay, the opening 10 minutes is the teenage stuff. So it sets a tone as if we're gonna experience something that we've experienced before. Yeah. Right. And I think you brought this up that you don't love it, but you also love it. Yeah. And I don't disagree. And I think that it was distinctly made for that purpose.
Oh, of course, definitely.
Right. Yes. I liked it. I think I would have. I don't remember, but I think like early stages, maybe people were just like, they felt like cheated. Yeah. Okay, so I think that could be that could have played. But like watching this as like 20 years now, it plays so well. Especially like when I think back to Scream, right? The opening to Scream, and like how just again you said this is all of the teenagers and like the scare and like what is that going to do, and like this is about the fear. When then we come in with Naomi Watts, which, bro, so good.
She's great.
I love Naomi Watts. Every single time I have her on screen, I'm like, and this era for her.
Yeah, this is like, she is like a hot commodity right now.
Hot commodity.
This was right off of Mulholland Drive, which kind of gave her big hit here. But yeah, go on.
And so having her come in as this like journalist, right? And watching this for her trying to discover what happened, getting called out that she's fired, but then it's like, no, I'm not. I'm working on a story. Like, don't even think about it. We don't know why, whatever the situation is, but she felt strongly enough to be like, no. And so she's a strong, independent individual. We have this thing, the whole breakdown And for me, as we progress and we start to understand the greater story, as she unravels, as she starts to identify the things that make that this film, why was this film even made? Why is it being made the way it was? Right? Like all of that is just so freaking so good. And I truly appreciate, so there's some cheap jump scares the one, but I think what I like about that is that they're giving it to us because we need to give us something because they keep waiting.
Yeah.
But I one of the most is literally when the dad is standing behind her. She's watching.
Oh, Brian Cox?
Brian Cox is standing behind her.
Yeah.
After she comes back to try to talk to him. Creepiest freaking scene. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about it. And then him wrecking her and thinking that something, being reminded that, is he the bad person or whatever.
Yeah.
But him just trying to, and then killing him. So dude, again, that is a huge impactful scene, I feel like. But all of it, and then I absolutely love that we have all this intensity. She gets, some of the reveals. It slows down completely.
Yep.
And then we get the hit back that not everyone's good. Right? And we have Samara coming out and killing Noah.
And just killing him, yeah. I think that's what's such a huge highlight for me this time around is that the movie is limited, maybe not limited, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's
restricted.
They restrict themselves, yes. As filmmakers, they really went in and said, you know what? One, we're gonna make this PG-13 so that way we can get it to the mass audiences, right?
Correct.
Smart, financially smart.
Agreed.
Second, they restrict themselves and they have the self-control to say, we're not going to throw in so many horror jump scares. Yeah, there's cheap ones here and there. But we're going to save the big horror sequence till the very end. And then because of the nature of the videotape and its very haunting and creepy images, they interject throughout the entire script and throughout the entire movie these images: the ladder, the caterpillar,
yes,
the pulling out of the hair. Yeah,
that scene, I almost lost it.
Yeah, and it's because we saw the movie itself. Yes, as an audience, watched it, and now we're seeing these little images that are haunting. And I think that's what's so smart of this movie is that in reality, there's nothing really scary, but it's these little, because of the atmosphere and these little images that are so haunting and that are sprinkled throughout the movie. The mirror, the lighthouse, the horses, all of these basic everyday objects are now so scary in the context of this movie as I'm watching it that it just keeps me on edge the entire time.
Not only that, but then they amplify it by reiterating the thematic moments in the film, the Ring film of the film, in real life.
Yeah,
the centipede, the freaking horse. That horse is wild.
That's one of the moments I hated. There's a lot of things in this movie. Like I said, I love and I hate.
Yes,
but there are some stupid character decisions.
Yeah,
that I'm like, this. Why? How? Why? Why would you randomly go up to a horse and try to pet it?
I know.
And then try to calm it down. No. Try to re-pet it 2 or 3 times.
I know.
And then try to calm it down. And I'm just
that you've already watched the movie and then you know that horses are triggered by this freaking curse. Come on.
Yeah.
And so but I forgot the scene, the whole freaking horse coming off.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I remember actually. So I've forgotten it, and then I remember, for whatever reason, I do I remember the horse flopping over the side, and I was like, oh, it was held up. It held up, is what I'm saying. In any case, I don't know. Like I said, the re-emphasizing And not only that, but like what that does for us as a viewer to help us feel even more like that we are now driven like Rachel's driven as to know the why.
Yeah.
What is this happening? And I think part of it for me, the other side of this is on Noah's side. You know, he gets separated. He's supposed to go to find out some more stuff. He goes to stomp around like a freaking ogre in the downstairs records.
Yeah.
And no one comes by. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to find this tape and like discovers that it's not there.
And it's missing. And
you know, like this whole, like one, I don't know. It just like, to me would have, both scenarios would have been so much better. I think the payoff for the end scare for Noah dying by Samara would have hit so much harder because we would have been bought in.
Yeah. It would have been great. One, don't separate them. And throughout this excursion that they're on, how great would it have been for Rachel to have said, hey, look, I told Noah that, like, you're his father. And, like, what does that mean? Like, how is that going to impact? And, like, what does that mean for him as a father as we are learning what it meant for Samara's parents to become parents and how they failed her?
Yeah.
Right? Or she failed them and whatnot. And we're learning this dynamic from this example, Samara, and then from Noah and Aiden and Rachel. Like, and that would, to your point, that would have made that ending a lot more impactful because he's had a turn of heart or like a change of heart, and now he wants to be involved and he wants to be a parent, and like he realizes he's also been neglecting both her and Noah, and but then he dies, and that would have just been a lot more impactful.
So impactful. Like, you know, her, you know, Rachel rushing over to try to, you know, let him know that, like, you know, things aren't done. It would have just hit so much harder.
Yeah.
This is the first time this has happened. I think I like this movie less now.
You like it less?
Yes.
Why?
Because of this discussion.
but because of what they did to Aiden or Noah, I mean?
No, not to Noah, but because we could, this movie
could have been a lot better.
Could have hit so much harder.
Yeah.
Because it hits hard. No, it doesn't hit hard. It does. It's not, I appreciate the non-traditional subversive take on this story with a journalistic, you know, background, but then having the duality, the duality of the family situation, not situation, but like the family dynamics of like what the overarching presence have. Mm-hmm. And the whole reason why we watch this film is when you watch as a kid, you're watching it for the scare.
For the scare, yeah.
Right? But as an adult, as a filmmaker, you're trying to...
What are you trying to say?
And this is the thing that I think... The reason why I'm like, I don't know if I like this. And like, not that I don't like it. I'm like, I don't like it as much. It's because like the more I understand, I'm beginning to understand why people love horror.
Yeah.
Is that there's so many... They're trying to... Not only why why people love horror, but also why filmmakers always want to do horror film as their first film, is because the idea of a horror film, not only it's fun, right? The scare, the costume, the suspense of the sleight of hand, more sleight of hand so than any other, you know, storytelling. But you're trying to, you know, give and take way more in a. Okay, I'm gonna give him this one. I want to hold off on this one to punch harder for that right hook, for the scare.
Yeah,
but. Also trying to tell a bigger story. And I think that's the thing that I'm like, if that's what we're trying to do ultimately with this film, and they like, why waste it when it like had all the other elements that I felt like were like they're there to hit so much hard, especially like Corey Cox, you know, his performance.
Brian Cox's
performance is completely killer. Rachel coming in her passion, Aiden's, you know, I think could have played out better.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know, and I don't know if this is a Sixth Sense thing where they were trying to like, let's, this is what I was kind of, they were inspired that way, the addition, but having so much of that and not hitting, it makes me, it just, I don't know.
Sure. I see what you're saying. But if you can just like realize that the movie, I don't know. Yes, it's a missed opportunity. 100%. I think this movie would be top tier, like top 5 horror thrillers for me if it hadn't really nailed that aspect of the story. But I think everything else saves this. Like, I love the the camera usage. I love the imagery. I love the mood, the spookiness to it all. I love the music, which we haven't gone into, from Hans Zimmer. Like, I just love the setting. I love the pacing and like the big payoff when she comes out and just like literally
She's
kills
creepy.
him. Yeah. I think the individual elements make me continue to enjoy this movie.
I mean,
but yes, you are 1,000% correct. I agree with what you're saying, but I mean,
I'm not gonna watch this. Like, I'm not gonna sit down and watch this every year.
oh no, definitely not.
And I guess I don't know.
But I think it does a good job and it holds a great place for what it did.
Agreed. I'll say that. I'll agree with that.
I think Gore Verbinski right before this had done Mouse Hunt. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I'd love Mouse Hunt.
I never saw it. And then he did The Mexican with Brad Pitt. And,
I like The Mexican too.
Julia Roberts, right? So then from this he pivots. To your point, right? A lot of filmmakers start off doing horror. Now this is his 3rd movie.
Yeah.
Right.
But
which I appreciate that he goes from like doing a kids movie to doing this romantic adventure movie with Brad Pitt, and then goes into horror.
Yeah.
And which then gives him the opportunity to launch what he's known for is for the Pirates movies.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just think this movie specifically, I think, made me realize like how much, if you're gonna do horror, you've either put in work,
yeah,
and you understand what the purpose of horror is,
yes,
or you have had time to hone your skills and come in and be able to help craft that story, right? I think perfect example is Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, he studied and he did all sorts of other, reps in his sketches with
Key and Peele.
Key and Peele, and then he was ruminating and understanding what is the stories he would want to tell, because those are if I can tell them in a scary movie in a scary setting that is eerie, people will think about it.
Yes.
And because like it's not that drama movies don't have that, but like it feels almost heavy hand. Like I don't know. I think of Oppenheimer. Okay, fantastic movie. Mm-hmm. But when you think about the overall arching message at the end, it feels heavy handed in the sense of like, what is the world? Like this man dedicated his life and he created the ultimate, the weapon that could kill everybody.
Uh-huh.
And what does that mean for society? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Whereas in horror, like, it's like you get distracted. I don't know if that's the right word for it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Look, something that we did so last year when we did horror movies, one of the big takeaways that we had was when doing horror, don't rely on the jump scares.
Yeah.
Right? What is the story and what is the theme and message that you want to get across, and how do you build a horror story or horror elements to support that, right? And I think this movie had the potential to tell us a really great story about familial relationships and the impact of and not the toll, but like just the impact of what being a parent is like, and whether you're neglecting or involved or whatever that may be, and giving us the duality of these two examples. And that's what I think the movie was trying to get to, but didn't land it.
Yeah.
It got caught up on everything else. Great elements,
Right.
but those elements eventually did not support that theme or that main storyline. And I think that's where it loses it. So yeah, I think the biggest takeaway in all four, and you can say that in any movie, right? Like, what is it that you're trying to tell, right? But like, especially in horror, where you're so dependent on the jump scares, on the horror elements, on scaring your audience, that'll come. But how do you support that? How does the theme, or how do those things and those elements support your main story that you're wanting to say?
Right.
And it was missed here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
but I still had a great time.
No.
And Hans Zimmer with his score.
I forgot that Hans Zimmer did the score for this.
Yeah, I'd forgotten too.
And I'm not gonna lie. I think because I was like rewatching this essentially for the first time.
Yeah.
Again, normally Hans Zimmer's scores captivate me. I don't feel like I felt it in this round.
No, but it fits it perfectly because there is so much sound design in here.
Yeah, there
right?
is.
And even the video, I love the that little like warbling sound every time the video plays. The right? Like, yes, he could have come in and like overtaken it and written something, but no, I think his undertoned approach to this, I think, just enhances the movie.
Okay, yeah.
Like he came into this and saying, "Look, I could write a score that's gonna knock the crap out of this."
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm gonna do here. Like
that's not the point.
That's not the point here.
Yeah,
like how do I support the feeling of this movie? And I think he did that great.
Yeah. All right, man. What was your favorite scene?
Dude, I love when Noah dies. Like, it is so good.
It is the best part.
It is the best part of the movie. Everything builds up to it. To your point, we have a build up, a payoff. We slow down, and then we have the death scene, and it just.
I was like, legit I was like, I don't, what the heck?
Yeah.
This is it? Like, I'm like, good for them. They like found the story. Right?
The story.
You know, like, I mean, they found the body, yeah. But then having that, like, him going back, I think is it blood or is it water under one? He's in the chair. I don't know. There's other stuff.
Look, kudos to Samara for always, after she kills her victims, she picks them up and puts them sitting down somewhere.
That's a
like,
strong woman.
That's at least she doesn't just leave you there on the floor laying.
No,
she'll put you in either the closet or on the chair. So
that way, people can see your face right on.
Yeah. No, I love that scene. One, we build up to it. We have her finally like in full power coming out of the screen. It still holds well. There's the chaos of Rachel calling him, trying to explain what's happening. The phone is constantly ringing in the background.
Yeah.
And then like him like just falling over things, and her just like taking her sweet old time as she approaches them, and then that's not on a dolly. Then it really does zoom in.
Yeah.
To him and just
so good.
Sucks the soul out of him. It's great.
She's the mother of all Dementors.
The mother of all Dementors.
Just kidding. As a film, I think as a viewer, that's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker, the research.
Okay. Yeah.
The whole, all of it, all of that.
Being
like,
at the library,
her going to do the tape, like her, making the tape, and like getting caught by the person bleeding from the nose, like the just that journalistic element of it, the figuring out the stuff, it's just really great. It's like beautifully show not tell. Yeah. Like, it's inspiring in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, this was great to revisit. I had a great time with it. It's fun to like watch this after, like you said, it's almost like rewatching it for the first time with a whole new lens, new approach.
Yeah.
And I had a good time with it. I'll maybe come back to it in a couple of years, but like I had a good time with this.
I also had a really great time with it. Like again, I'm excited that we revisited this as an adult, as like getting perspective. I am sad.
Yeah,
I am sad.
No, I get it.
I'm not saying it like hurt necessarily the film overall. I think for me, it's just the fact that like it would have been awesome. It just would have been awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And it's the same reason why we're so upset with Quantumania.
Man.
Oh man. So thanks so much I'm glad we put this on the docket. Let us know. What'd you think of this film? You know, rewatching it, did you love it as much as you did as a kid? Did you like it more than when you did as a kid? Or do you still absolutely think it's the worst? Can we pull up the 1-star review for this movie? Have you looked at the reviews for this? This is a 7.1. Okay, how many? One. I'm going to pick this one. April 15th, 2003. What a shame. It has to be understood as an offense to any savvy viewer who caught the Japanese version of the movie Ringu. I'm aware of the fact that U.S. crowds do not go for movies that do not cast large-breasted, blonde, psychotic women, but this is a little far-fetched for this story. The movie is meant to be solely based on a psychology, thrills, and brain scare. The American version of the movie does not help in this at all, as all goes into the image and the special effects. Even the plot has to be altered and worsened. The little boy becomes a depressed child with a sixth sense who calls his mom by her first name. Anyhow, you may go for the American remake if you are the kind to be scared by movies with subtitles. However, if you were delivered with a brain and some artistic sense, you'll go for Ringu. That's it. That's all I wanted.
Some people.
Oh, man.
Nah, it's just a movie, you guys. I would love to hear. I do believe that this movie, had it come out a year or two later, it would not have been as impactful or as relevant. And you talked about this, right? It came out right at a perfect time where we're getting into like the mass usage of internet. There's still cell phones in this movie. There's still landline phones in the movie, right? This is one of those movies that just like it came out right when it needed to, and it had the impact that it did. I would love to know what Gen Z thinks of this movie.
Oh my goodness, bro. I didn't even think about that.
Like, that's really... Because one...
Listen, Gen Z people, we're gonna clip. We have to clip. No, you just tell us. What is your thoughts on The Ring?
Yeah, I would love to know what Gen Z thinks of this movie. Watch it. Tell me your thoughts from like the pacing, the coloring of this.
No, the coloring, hands down, is absolutely atrocious.
Horrible.
It's literally the worst.
But it's just like the idea of like, we didn't get into the themes of like what's it saying about technology and like the dangers of it and all. But like, is it even trying to say something about the dangers of technology, right? But maybe we're looking too much into it. But I would love to know what Gen Z has to say about 2002's The Ring.
I bet you somebody out there would be like, this is the dangers of technology.
This movie's so dumb. We have better horror movies.
Yeah.
This is my impersonation of Gen Z as a whole.
That's a whole. Oh, we're going to get sacked for that. Hopefully the haters make us famous. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really hope that you enjoyed this episode because we enjoyed doing it. Yeah, we'd love it if you subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts, or subscribe to us on YouTube. If you are there, smash that like button because we appreciate it.
As always, we want to hear from you. What do you think of The Ring? Gen Z, hit me up. Let me know. You can always connect with us on all of our channels at Real Chums, or feel free to email us at realchums.com. You can find me on Twitter at Marstrosity, MARCTROSITY.
And me at Rubio_TV. And join us next week as we continue our month-long discussion of scary, spooky thriller movies. Not thriller, just crazy, whatever. Halloween. With Jordan Peele's movie, Us.
Dude, I'm so excited to talk about this. This is your first time watching it,
This is my first time watching it, baby.
Oh, man. I love Jordan Peele.
So far, so good.
Go watch it and come to chat with us next time. We'll see you guys.